Drunken Bar Fight is exactly that. Drunks coming at you in a bar, wanting a fight. The main aim of the game is to beat up everyone who comes inside the bar. It's kind of like a wave beat 'em up. To deal damage you can either punch people, which is pretty realistic as they do react depending on the point of impact, most of the time, and cuts and bruises also appear on their face. As well as punching people, you can also use many weapons that are just laying around the bar. For some strange reason though, the grip button on the touch controller isn't used for grabbing objects, instead the trigger button is used. It can take a little while to get used to, if you have played a lot of Quest games already, and it is obviously a bit of a shame, considering the touch controller's grip button is mainly there for making gripping things in games a much more immersive action. Some of the things you can use as a weapon are your traditional objects that you would find in your local bar, but then there are a few things that are a little bit different. Each weapon does have a certain amount of durability, so you can't rely on using the same thing over and over again. They break in quite a cool way too. Stools will fall apart and a box of tissues will explode. When you don't have a weapon, it can be quite an intense rush to grab another one quickly, especially when a couple of drunks are approaching you. Because of this game's fast-paced nature, it's actually very immersive. You really do lose yourself inside these bars, and you can use room scale too, although most will likely have to play outside to fully appreciate it, due to the bars having pretty large open spaces. The weapons can be thrown too. It's pretty funny to chuck something at someone who has already been beaten up and is desperately trying to crawl towards the door. Darts and knives will actually stick into people too. Part of the fun of this game really is making up your own funny moments with the tools that the game provides. You can even pick up beaten enemies and launch them across the room. Sure, their weight isn't very realistic, but it does offer some mindless fun. Power-ups also make an appearance in the form of special brews, which you must actually drink to activate. One of these even turns you pretty small. It's not really beneficial, but it certainly adds to the wackiness of this game. Mr. Oculus, you're not actually drinking whilst we're doing this review, are you?
I'm getting into the spirit of things. Unlike some people, I go the extra mile.
So you think I should do this review drunk?
Of course not. You really think this bottle is for sharing? You wouldn't even be able to afford the cork.
Charming. There is 4 different locations in the game. There's a normal pub, a western saloon, a party that takes place high up on a balcony, and also an alleyway. The locations come with unique ways of defeating the drunks too, such as being able to chuck them down a manhole or flinging them off the side of the balcony. These are funny inclusions, but it can hurt the difficulty of the game if you decide to use these tactics over and over again. The drunks can fight back, and it doesn't take too many hits from them to get a game over. Sometimes you see their punches or kicks coming your way and can dodge them efficiently, but when you have 3 people approaching you at once and miss one of their attacks, only to have the action suddenly end and you having to redo the whole series of waves again, it can be a little frustrating. When you defeat the last person, the police will arrive and you will return to the main hub. The last bar you beat will be closed until you have completed the other bars, and then after you have done so, all of them will be reset. There is a reason to play them again too, thanks to unlockables. You can play as a few different characters, can add accessories to their hands, as well as tattoos to their arms. To get everything though, will be a bit of a grind, as some of these unlockables require you to beat the bars quite a few times. Some new objects do appear in the bars too, but it's not really enough to drastically change up the gameplay on repeated outings. It's really more of a game that is best played in bite-sized sessions. Speaking of bite-sized chunks, maybe you should slow down a bit on that bottle, Mr. Oculus.
Don't tell me what to do. I know how much I can handle. Why don't you just focus on finishing your lifelike fishing? I mean your virtual fish. Your real VR fishing review.
Are you sure there's only wine in that bottle? This game has already been out for a while now on other VR systems, and out of all the VR games I have reviewed, this game certainly has one of the most divided communities when it comes to whether they like it or not. It's definitely not the most polished game ever, so if you're looking for a completely solid experience, then you're not going to find that here. But if you're looking for a physics engine sandbox in a virtual space, that includes some very comical moments, then you're going to have a fun time with it. Although the amount of time you actually spend with it will really depend on how much you enjoy doing the same thing over and over again, as the game does get pretty repetitive quite quickly. And what are your closing thoughts, Mr. Oculus? Well, I hope he can find the cork.
Mr. Oculus.